On today's episode, I promise your mind will be blown. I actually feel like we should charge money for what was covered in this episode around video and YouTube and creating video content, navigating your audience, getting your content open, getting them to stick, getting them to click. Like some of the notes that I have is like the YouTube is a visual representation of your brand. The 2 required tactics to ensure success with any video channel. Don't be Rocky McCocky, which I'm sure you saw in the title. The 3 business saving questions that you must ask. Are your fish jumping in the boat, or are you trying to pull them in? The 3 mind-blowing exercises to align your brand and your YouTube channel to gain success. The biggest mistakes YouTubers make that cost them business. 5+1 title strategies to crush your YouTube or any other places that you're posting content. The holy video tripod. The 3 required parts for a successful YouTube hook. How failing to grow petunias leads to more sales. Be clear over cute every day, and the 10,000 views will thank you tomorrow. So we had Theresa and Owen back for part 2 of their YouTube series with me. If you haven't listened to part 1, go find part 1. Start here, start there. Either way, get your pen and paper out. Put your phone somewhere to let this thing play and get really focused, because you are going to leave with pages of implementable tactics and strategies and notes that you can utilize today. So without further ado, here's the intro. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Mind of George Show. And today, my intro gets really, really easy because I have a continuation of the couple rock stars, the queen and king of video, and some incredible human beings and friends. And we are back. We didn't want to make you wait. So we are back with part 2 of YouTube domination is what I'll call it. So Theresa and Owen, welcome back to the show.
Great to be here.
Thanks so much for having us.
Oh, dude, I'm so stoked. And it's actually nice because I feel like we haven't had like months pass. And I'm like, no, guys, we just did this a couple weeks ago.
I know. It feels like we're on a cadence, you know what I mean? Which is nice. I feel like after COVID and all the stuff, like we lost cadence with people. And it's like, so it's nice to have this new cadence and be talking to you twice in a month.
Yeah. Did you guys get any feedback from the last show? Because I got a whole lot of, oh my God. And then number 1 is like, I can't believe I was treating YouTube wrong. That whole Netflix thing kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, that's really good. I got a lot of like tweets and reshares, a lot of new followers. I found you from the Mind of George podcast. So that was really nice to see.
Some good conversations.
Yeah. I love it when my team listens and they're like, hey, that really made sense for me. I'm like, great. Because I can't teach it as good as they do. So I will just leave it up to the experts.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I want to set the frame for everybody listening. We went kind of 30,000 feet and maybe got down to like 15,000 in the last episode, because understanding your why and understanding the platform that you're on and why you're on it is a really important task to shift the paradigm before you get into the weeds of the entire thing. And so today we're going to take you down. I don't want to call it the weeds, but I like playing in the weeds. We'll take you down to the ground level and talk about kind of how to set yourself up for success. So we're going to talk about your channel value statement, your programming strategy, i.e. content. I had to learn TV language for YouTube, thumbnails, silo structure, and hooks. And they're incredible at it since I click on every one of their pieces of content. So I'm ready to take notes. I'm ready to learn. So Owen, I kind of want to tee you up really quickly, because before we were talking, Theresa's like, this channel value statement. And I've never heard that before, like ever. And I'm like, Can you guys break that down for me to kind of set the frame for people of what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, because when we talk about YouTube, immediately our thoughts go to, I want to make a video about X, right? Usually it's like my products or services. And then you start to think about, well, what camera am I going to use? And really, those are the lowest level tactical, parts of YouTube, when YouTube is the visual representation of your brand, your company, your vision, on social media. And so when we set the frame, you need to know that as an entrepreneur, 90% of the YouTube coaching advice that you're hearing will not apply to you. You're not building a slime channel. You're not building a family vlog. you're building your business out on YouTube, and there's some strategies and tactics that you need to follow to be successful. And this is what my wife and I have done for years. We help 7-figure entrepreneurs launch their brand on YouTube, and it spills over into Instagram, and it spills over into, Facebook video, and you actually end up doing less work. You end up making more money and having the time to do the things that you really enjoy, whether it's pickleball or playing with your kids, right? So before you get started on YouTube, and it's okay if you already have a YouTube channel and you haven't really uploaded it to, you're not serious about it. Take this time to like etch a sketch. Remember those etch sketches, like shake it all off. You're going to start fresh and you're going to start correctly. And before you even think about what videos you're going to make, you need to understand what your channel name and your channel value statement are. And these are two very important tactics. Number one, because every time somebody clicks on a video on YouTube, they're going to see a thumbnail, they're going to see a video title, and they're going to see your channel name. And so your name needs to be something that doesn't only represent your sort of, dare I say, ego. I apologize. Let me
Ego's
prepare.
A good thing.
Ego is a good thing, but it can't be the only thing, because your customers are not interested in your ego. They're not interested in Jim Jones, attorney at law, PwC, and L1. They're interested in like the legal, right? Maybe the channel name, it doesn't have to be your business name. The channel name can be something like the legal expert. So imagine that you're on YouTube and you search for, how do I fight a DUI? And a video comes up called How to Fight a DUI. And the channel is by like Rocky McCocky, right? And you're thinking, okay, like I'm in this DUI, but then you have the next one says How to Fight a DUI Appropriately, and it's by the legal experts, right? You're more likely to pick that video based on the channel name than the actual title. And so your channel name needs to be something that the viewer, that it sends immediate credibility to the viewer. Sometimes it'll be your name. Some of you guys are big enough influencers, right? If I were, George, I'm not sure what your channel name is, but George Bryan or Mind of George would be great, right? Because you've got somewhat of a brand already. But for someone who's really just starting out on YouTube as a company, it might be different. Now, the channel value statement tells the viewer what it is that you cover on the channel. Maybe Theresa could talk more about that.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, a lot of times people they think of their YouTube channel as the same exact thing as their business. And so because of that, they make their channel value statement, if they say something like it, oftentimes the same exact thing as like their mission statement for their website or something like that.
Right.
And it's not the same. So you might do a lot of different things in your business and you might serve in a variety of ways. But what you want to be doing is really thinking, what is going to be the value of this channel? Yeah. Even if someone were to never buy from me, if this person were to just go to my channel and watch every one of my videos, what value would they have? What would they walk away knowing, thinking, doing better, right? Yeah. That would be more of what we mean when we say your value statement for your channel. A lot of people, when they start YouTube and they have a business, it's oftentimes like, oh, we have products and courses and we can help you do X, Y, Z. And it's very like, this is what our business does. And it can give off a very salesy feel. Yes. And it can get people Xing out real quick because they already feel like, okay, I'm gonna get a pitch now, and they just wanted to learn a few things. So not having that pitchy intro is really important. Focus on what is the value of this channel, who is it for. I would like really even be very clear on who is your audience, who is this content for, and what would you say, Owen? I would say like 1 to 3 things really that they can walk away with by watching your channel.
Let's start with an exercise. So we start our clients that attend our workshops, which is this 1-day event where we teach you everything about YouTube, so that you can go and be free to create, right? You don't need like 12 weeks, in a program. But we do these workshops, and the first thing that we focus on is your value statement. And so we give you a skeleton. I help X achieve Y so they can finally Z. All right. So you're getting in those 3 pillars that Theresa was talking about, right? The X is the demographic. The Y is the after state, right? It's what did they get after they watched all your videos, right? And then finally, experience Z is that emotional concept. So you might say something like, I help busy moms lose weight at home so they can finally be the mom they want to be, right? You could say, I help entrepreneurs invest in crypto so they can focus on building their empires, right? And this is an exercise that will both be visualized on your YouTube channel banner, right? Someone comes to your channel, they're not sure if they want to subscribe. They can see your banner, they can see your trailer video, and a couple other things. Those are major influencers in building your following. So your channel banner should reflect your value statement. And again, the template I just gave you is a starting point. You could also go something like, helping entrepreneurs, let's say, build funnels, make videos, and create sales, right? That easily could be a value statement. What it's not is a statement about yourself, right? Like the number one spigot distributor in the Northwestern Cincinnati area. Like it's not about
You're killing me today with Rocky McCocky and the number one spigot distributor in like the Northeast.
I had a lot of carbohydrates yesterday, so I am like in this loopy mood.
Can I Owen, before you go any further, I want to break this down a little bit because I understand all of this and I think it's really important to understand why. And I want to kind of summarize and get your guys' thoughts on it. So the way that I see YouTube, right? Like the way that I see content in the world is the content doesn't change necessarily whether they've never seen you before or whether they're already an existing customer. The context of the relationship determines how they consume that. And when I think about, and what I'm hearing you saying in like YouTube, when we're talking about channel value statement, it's like your channel isn't your business. It's almost a tool inside of your business that's used to capture people's attention, give them depth, allow them to move closer into your ecosystem to add value, whether or not they become a customer or not. But I think what I see a whole lot of, and Theresa, you alluded to this as well, is that people think their channel is their business. And it's not necessarily your business. Your channel is a tool that you utilize by creating consistent and congruent content to help people, regardless of the transaction, in one of the areas or an area that can best serve people. And then they can decide at that point, do I want to watch more? Do I want to hit this playlist? Do I want to come into the ecosystem? So that they're coming in with this lens of like, I'm not just going to Rocky McCocky, but these people can help me win a DUI or reduce my speeding ticket fines.
And maybe even more in the future, right? Maybe even these guys could help me set up an LLC because they are the legal experts,
Yes.
And maybe they could help me with these other things in the past, right? Like what we want, what we see is most entrepreneurs, business owners, and brands are thinking of YouTube like a home shopping network. And while there's some value in that for e-commerce brands and product-based brands, there's value in that as a part of your channel. I want you to imagine all the hard work, because I know we got a lot of hardworking moms and dads out there that are listening to this, maybe even grandpas that are listening to this and building. You got a lot of passion involved in your entrepreneurial ventures, right? Like you love what you do. And sometimes it feels like people don't notice all the work that we do. I see how my wife grinds behind the scenes. My wife is one of the most unrequited, the biggest unrequited YouTube experts out there. Like she knows so much. And I want you guys to imagine that a TV producer, a Netflix producer came up to you and said, hey man, we watch the way you grind. We watch the way you hustle, and we want to create a TV show around what you do. That's your YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah. And the way that I think about it, right? Like I think in the lens of customer journey all the time, which is why we get along so well, right? Like in Jonah Berger's book, Contagious, he talks about the social trigger. And and you just alluded to this, but I kind of want to ding one up of I told you so, and he just validated what I said, for the 189th millionth time.
It's good. It's important. Yeah.
It's not about the fact that somebody sees your content and immediately it's like, I can buy from them. The point is that they collect a social trigger and deepen their endowment to know what's possible. And when the relationship is there, or there's a pain point or something that's exacerbated in their life that they're looking for a solution for, instead of going to the store or opening up Yellow Pages like, who can I call? They're like, oh my God, I already know, because there's a social trigger there based on the context of the relationship. By having your channel add value and build that relationship regardless of the transaction.
Exactly. You know, a lot of business owners we find that will create content for the person who's ready to buy now. And Owen
Yes.
often will say, listen, your audience on YouTube is not your customer. Your audience
Yes.
is actually who your customer was 6 months ago.
Yes.
Something more like that. And then you're
Yes.
working on that nurturing and just building that relationship with them through that content, through your content, so that at some point in that journey that you're talking about, then there'll be a moment where they're going,
It,
okay,
it'll
I need to call this guy.
It'll be soon too. It's you're going to
Yes.
do live streams and you're going to do webinars to convert them. But what you're going to find is that the fish actually jump into the boat. You know,
Yes, they
and they
do.
jump into the boat because you made 6 videos without asking them for nothing, right? You made 6 videos that you thought to yourself, how can I change someone's life today, right?
Hmm.
With these videos, and whether it's a talking head video or whether it's a screen tutorial, or maybe like you show them how to do something cool on the iPhone. You know, the context isn't as important as what you are doing at a top level for the viewer, and that's reflected in the value statement of what you're trying to do. And so you're thinking of like, who are my best customers? This is an exercise we walk through. Like, who are your best customers, who you're shooting for? Like, okay, men and women ages, let's just say 45 to 55, right? We can go 35 to 55. Somewhere around that age group is our most popular age group. So what are those people into? Well, they're parents. They're dealing with the post-COVID world right now. Like, they're probably looking a lot at like mental health and avoiding burnout. So like, how can you frame your message in terms that will attract that audience? And then from that value statement, the value statement functions as sort of like the top of the table, right? It's something that's firm. You can place, stuff on, but every table is supported by 4 legs. And that's where your programming strategy comes into play. What are the first 4 legs of your table? And this is what we call the silo strategy. And if you nail this part of YouTube, then this is where the success comes from.
And I want to say something before he digs into the silo strategy, because I think this is really important. What you said earlier, Owen, about they've watched like 6 of your videos. It's really very few, it's not as often that you get someone who comes in, watches one of your videos, and then they're ready to buy, right? Most of the time when when our clients are reaching out to us going, oh my gosh, I got another sale, got another client, the story is very similar every time.
Right.
The person reached out to them and they said, hey, I found your channel. I watched like 6 of your videos, and then I realized I just need to call you, right?
Yep.
It's never really one video. They watched a few of them on a topic that they're really, really wanting to dig into, and you showed up for them and really showed, wow, that you know what you're talking about. And that's where this silo strategy really comes in.
Yeah. And I want to, because people are used to me speaking, so I'm going to put it in our language, because this is why we're like entrepreneurial brothers and sisters and everything's so aligned. It's like one of the things that I say is our job isn't to find our customer, it's to create our ideal customer. But it's not our job to determine the speed at which they become one. It's our job to create the container, right? So when we think about it, like I always use the Truman Show because most people my age have seen the movie.
I love
right?
that show. Yeah.
And the way that I think about it and customer journey and even how it applies to video is there's only 4 things that somebody can do when they come into your world. And our job isn't to choose which one. It's to make sure that they can accomplish either of those 4. Number 1 is they show up and leave. But just because they leave doesn't mean that we didn't add value, create endowment, or an open loop in their brain to come back. They come in and learn more. They come in and opt in, where they automate a monogamous relationship, or they come in and buy. But statistically speaking, like less than 1% of people that come in and just see your content buy right away. And then less than go ahead, Owen.
That's an important part of YouTube, right? Because if you're going to get 10,000 views on a video, you're going to get a sale from that, but like you need the 10,000, right? Because it's going to be the person who comes and sees the video and goes, man, there's 10,000 views on this video. I can trust Theresa. I can trust George. And they're the ones that will watch another and another and another right before they finally call you and make a sale. But you need the 10,000. I get a lot of, sort of this, the pompous attitude of like, I don't need those people in my business. Like because like this sales thing is a self-fulfilling, or a self-defeating sort of thing. Like, I'm going to make sales videos because that's what I do. And I'm like, and it's like, man, you are going to turn everybody off with that. Like, create the environment. We often talk about the living room first. Build your front porch, man, a place people can hang out at and like, feel really comfortable at. And then after that, build a living room where you can kind of like go a little bit deeper. Now, fewer people will be in the living room. Okay. But there'll be more intimate relationships. And these kind of start to build out the 4 pillars, right? Like, you've got one pillar of content. We call these silos. Think of these like table legs. And on YouTube, they're called playlists. And the idea is this: when you're watching a video on YouTube, YouTube is ready to suggest a video on a similar title and topic as the video you're watching now, because YouTube, like Netflix, wants you to binge watch. So you want to make a series of videos that are all on one topic, right? Let's say that it's business systems, right? So let's say you're trying to rank for the word business systems, right? You're going to want to make a series of videos that are all titled something individually, like, 3 great business systems for increasing sales, or how to create these business systems quickly. The best business systems that female entrepreneurs need to know, right? Et cetera, et cetera. But every single one of those videos in that silo are going to have the word business systems in it, because it's a silo, it's a playlist that you hope to rank for business systems, thereby helping you become sort of like the thought leader in business systems. That's one leg of your table. Now, your goal is to create maybe 10 videos in that silo, maybe 5, right? It kind of depends on can you spit out 5, or did that take you all month? You know what I mean? It's kind of like a capabilities question. But the idea is that you're gonna sort of make 5 and then move on to the next leg, right? And the reason that you're going to do that is because if you're going to get 10,000 views on a video, you guys need to hear this. If you're going to get 10,000 views on a video, that means that 100,000 people had to search for the term. And then of those 100,000, a percentage of them had to even see your video, a percentage even had to click. So you have to give it time to work, right? I get it all the time. It's like, man, I published a video and it's only got 17 views. It's like, well, it's only been 4 hours, bro. Like, relax. Go play with your kids. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you're getting started, it's like, put your first 5 up, work on your next 5. Your goal in the beginning is production. It's not even results. Like, your best video, you won't even know it for 3 months, right? And then all of a sudden it's going to get 10,000 views. And you're gonna be like, how did that happen? I'm going to say, I told you about this on the Mind of George podcast. Like, so you want to kind of know your value statement, your tabletop, and then your first leg is going to be, I want to rank and be known for this term. Your second leg is maybe going to be a live stream leg, and you're going to go live on Fridays at 2 p.m. every week for 30 minutes to deliver value. Think about that. Let's say that you spend it's an hour a week, right? You're going to spend on this 30 minutes prepping the content, because I do believe in prep. I do believe that so many of us are experts that we could easily be called out to do a speech and we could do a fantastic job. I think there's tons of people listening that could be called out in a moment to do a speech. They do a fantastic job. But that's not the mindset of YouTube. I want you to spend 30 minutes thinking, what am I going to say on this live stream so that it's 30 minutes of succinct, great information. After that 30 minutes of living, I'm going to press stop and I'm going to go play with my kids. That's 1 hour a week. And again, with live, your goal is to develop an audience. You may not do that at first, but you will over the repetitive sessions. So at the end of 3 months, you're going to have 12 30-minute videos on your channel that are on a number of topics, right? You could even pick a live silo. For the next 12 weeks, I'm going to talk about time management. Right. And you have this whole series on time management. You could even do 3 different series over this month on my live stream. I'm going to talk about time management. Next month on my live stream, I'm going to talk about health and wellness. Month 3, I'm going to talk about sales, increasing. And so now you've got like these 2 legs of your of your table. And then, your additional two legs could be more keywords. They could be YouTube shorts. What we do with our clients is that we take a look at what are the skill sets and talents you bring to the table, right? Or is it easy for you to produce? Are you really good at XYZ? What are you already known for? Let's expand on that. And we help you carve out like what your first, 6 or 7 silos should be so that you could start with 4. And then after you've done those 4, we could see what's next.
So I'm going to wrap this from the top down to put a picture of it. So when we think about channel value statement, we're thinking about the tabletop, right? That's the overarching enveloping point value of your channel. And then once you have that and you have to work from the top down, then you utilize that to identify the silos or the legs that support that big idea and give people this world, or in your language, a living room to hang out with, but not feel bad or wrong if they choose not to watch a certain show. It's to let them know what's there so that they can choose their own adventure down whatever 6 videos, 17 videos, or 18. And then when I hear silo, what I'm hearing is silo can be a medium, right? Like a short or a live, or a topic. Like from mine, it's email marketing, customer journey, mindset. And
there you go.
So in your mixture of silos, I could have email marketing, mindset, customer journey as 3, but then YouTube Shorts is 1, YouTube Lives is the other. And those 2 silos are still pulling from my big ideas and my big keywords, but it's creating consistent programming and setting an expectation so that people have something to look forward to, subscribe to, and to build a relationship with.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
One of the things that I do see people do though, when trying to create these playlists, that I think could use some tweaking is their live stream playlist. They might just title it, the name of their live stream show. But when someone's coming to your channel and they're looking at your content, there's most of the time, most people don't name their live stream show in such a way that really is clear on what the value of that show is. So, our suggestion often is to flesh that title out a little bit. And you can there's actually even ways on YouTube where you can actually write a description for each playlist so that you can explain what the value is. So why should they watch your live show? What are they going to get that's different from these other playlists that are on your channel? So really being clear with that, I think, is important.
And I think that's...
Go ahead.
Go on.
Go ahead. One of you go. I'll shut up.
Owen, go.
I think that knowing your goals up front is really important because, you might measure your live stream goals differently than your pre-recorded goals, right? You might say, on this live stream, my goal is to get 30 live viewers on with me, right? Whereas with your pre-recorded videos, your goal is going to be to rank on the YouTube or Google search engine in 30 days, right? So you now have something to measure it up against. And I think that that's really important. And while the goals can vary, my favorite goal is making a silo of videos that are made to get sales. That's always going to be the 6th or 7th silo, right? It's always going to be there. And so our thing is like, how you want to make sales? How fast can you get 10 videos published on YouTube? That's 2 full silo legs, right? And that's when I would say anticipate it, right? Now let's work on the other 10. And by 20 videos in, it's very rare that we have a client that makes 20 videos and hasn't made back 3 times what they paid for the course. It's very rare. And you know who it is? It's the person we all know. It's the person who's too busy to make videos, but I love showing up to the meetings, Owen,
Yeah.
I think we've kind of brushed over this a few times, like not intentionally, but we've said it, is that the value of a video isn't right when you publish. So when you create content and you do it the right way, it lives forever. Like I have videos from 3-4 years ago that all of a sudden I'm like getting comment notifications like crazy. And I was like, God, that's so embarrassing. I don't want to see that video anymore, but I'll leave it up. But they live forever because the algorithms are based and designed on meeting people where they are and giving them relevant content. And it's got nothing to do. It's not like old WordPress days and we were trying to be relevant without an algorithm and just trying to get dates in there. It's very different.
Yeah. And people freak out about that. They feel, well, there's already so many videos, for coaches, let's just bring it down to like tactical. For coaches and consultants, a great silo is software tutorials, right? The softwares that you would get your clients to use, right? So, the challenge with that is you go, man, there's already so many ClickFunnels tutorials on there, but that's the thing, right? Like, that's why it's good for you, because you're going to publish a video that says made 3 weeks ago, versus this guy who's got a video that says 3 years old. Simultaneously, that video you're making today is going to be good in 3 years. So you can't lose. Where we get distracted is in our own minds of what's possible and why you should do a thing. But I'll tell you this, at the end of the day, when you fast forward 2 years and you're looking at your YouTube channel and you're thinking about how much money you've made and all the videos, your genius, your brilliance, your opus exists on the web for future generations, that's a really great position to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. And one more thing before I go next, because Theresa, you said something as well, and it was so powerful, but I want to give context to it because you're like, even in naming their lives, right? Like, I think it's important to remember where most people, and Owen, you alluded to this earlier, like, in order to get 10,000 views, 100,000 people had to see that piece of content. And if the title of my live stream is like Questions with George Bryant, and even if I have clout and resonance with my name, all that is about me. But if I change that thing to like 3 5-minute mindset tools to increase your productivity with George Bryant, then anybody driving by who sees that billboard would at least have an invitation if it served their need, rather than me just hoping and praying that my pink glasses and my pink shoes with my smile is enough to get somebody to click.
Exactly. And I think that also fits with this idea that I see when people are using playlists, is that they assume that somebody is watching a playlist from beginning to end. And so they treat it as like this one whole piece, when really, yes, it's part of a whole piece, but each video needs to be treated as if somebody had never seen any of the other videos ever. Because you really don't know which one they're going to come in on. They might come in on your episode 3 of your live stream, or they might come in on episode 10, and they might then go back and hop around and check 1 or 2. So it shouldn't be delivered in such a way where, like, this is part 1 of, in any type of silo, whether it's a live stream or one on a keyword. None of those playlists should be treated in a part 1 through 5 type
or
of
episode 1.
Yes.
Yeah, don't do that.
And then what it also comes back to, though, is like your channel value statement, where you're like, hey guys, George here today to talk to you about like the 3 most important things when it comes to customer journey on that table, and repeating that down. So we're not pigeonholing ourselves into like part 2 of 5 or down this hole that destroys our content. It's really building that ecosystem around that channel value statement.
Yeah, that's kind of like our process too, because like the coach's process might be a little bit different than the process we teach, but ours is sort of right in that ballpark. We think of, okay, what is it that our clients need right now? Like, what are the videos we could make that really serve our clients' needs? Because we hear the feedback from them, see where they're struggling. And then how do we position that through a video title that will reach a massive audience, right? So like, one of the big things that we're working on right now is description boxes, right? Why? Because the problem in our company is that our customers, our clients have said that I'm not getting enough clicks to my website. Okay, let's take that as a scenario. So we go, well, they need links. You need to have links in your description box. So therefore, we're going to make a description box silo, right? And it's going to be like how to write a great description box, that's video number 1. Video number 2 is where to put links in your description box, so that they get sales, right? And other similar topics.
How to optimize it for SEO, those kinds of things.
Yeah, how to optimize your description box for SEO. That's a great title. Like, add that to the list, babe. That's great. But you see, we started internally, and then we thought of a broad level topic, and it brings us into the importance of a title. Like, the title of your video. I don't mean what's the video about. I mean, when you upload the file to YouTube, it's going to say, what's the title? And what you type in there is what people will see when that video is published. So you say, oh, I want to make a video about sales. And it's like, but what's the title of the video? right? And that's where, you're going to want to have some pretty solid title strategies underneath your belt. And I want to give you guys 5 title strategies right now: who, what, why, where, when, and how to. Now, I know that wasn't 5, but I'm giving you the extra one as a bonus, right? It's 5 plus 1 is what it is, because how to is so innate in the business world. It's an easy one, right? But I want you to think about, you take this, I want to make a video about sales. So you run it through the 5 filters, okay? Who, is there any title like who makes the best sales, or who has the highest sales in industry? I'm not seeing much there. Who, what, right? What 3 sales strategies will excel your business this year? Okay, I kind of like that title, right? Then who, what, why your sales are down. That's not bad. Okay. So now you've got 2 titles you're going to pick from, and you walk through that process of taking the 5 W's, and you might land on how to, right? Like how to increase sales for your financial services company. And you might land on the how to, right? But what you'll do by going through those 5 filters is you'll take this concept that's in your mind. I want to make a video about sales. You run it through this 5 filter process, so that you have maybe 3 to 4 titles to choose from. And then you got to pick the title that you love, right? You pick the title that you think the most people would click on. And here's the best thing. If you launch a video and it's not doing well, change the title. Maybe you just phrased it in a way that didn't make sense to the viewer. So when you think about your video that you're going to make, right? You're going to make 5 of them on a topic, right? But it's 5 different titles. And so you want to think about, how can I make each of these titles express a unique value clearly, 3 seconds, less than 3 seconds, so that the viewer is enticed to click.
Any thoughts on that one, Theresa? Any magic woo-woo? What was that word you used earlier, Owen? The most, you used an R word that she's not known, and I don't know what the word means.
Oh, unrequited. It means
Requited.
like people haven't acknowledged. I mean, I say that in my own world. It's like,
I agree
my
with you.
wife is an excellent YouTuber, and I think sometimes even she is like, no, I'm just, I just do what I love. You know what I mean?
So what I would add to that is also just making sure that it's clear who your audience is in your title too, because let's say you wanted to do a video on mindset, and you come up with this clever title, or, for the sake of time, I'll make it simple, how to improve your mindset in a post-COVID world. Okay, but your audience and you speak to is entrepreneurs, right? But I don't know that. Like, there can be all sorts of different mindset issues that happen with all sorts of different audiences. So I would want you to kind of rephrase your title a bit, so that somebody who's coming in on YouTube and finds your video, they know if you're speaking to them or not. Because I'll see similar titles, whether it's like it's a health coach speaking to the, people who want to lose weight, or it's a business coach to people who want to grow their sales, or it's all sorts of possibilities. So make it clear on who your audience is, so that when they hop in, they're more likely to stay, because you are really speaking to their particular mindset issues that they might be struggling with in their business.
And you can do that. You can do that in a lot of clever ways, right? Like we've actually created silos that are like for busy moms, right? So the silo is for busy moms. So it's like, how to start a business when you're a busy mom, how to start how to manage, how to create sales for MLM, busy mom version, right? And every single, it's like so you're saying the demographic like right out there in the title. But you can also use industry jargon, going back to the mindset idea, right? Instead of saying for entrepreneurs, right? You just say like 3 mindset tips that will help you manage staff, right? And all of a sudden that managed staff is only going to speak to a certain amount of people, or manage team members, right? Like the 3 mindset shifts your team needs, right? All of a sudden you're speaking to teams, you're speaking to a different type of person, right? So the way that you and I'll tell you the best way to learn this is go on to YouTube and to see how people are titling things and get a sense. It should be a gut thing. Our clients will text us and be like, hey, what do you think of this title? I like it. Let's try this title. It's a really cool process. I think it's probably the thing that I enjoy most about our program is like actually doing this text right before they publish. But with the title comes a thumbnail, right? YouTube is not an autoplay scenario, right? If you go onto Instagram, it autoplays. If you go onto Facebook, it autoplays. On YouTube, and this is what makes YouTube unique, is you still have to click. Whether you search for something or you're watching something else, you have to click on the video to say, I want to watch this. And so that brings up two strong points here. What is the thumbnail, the visual image of your video that attracts their eye and causes them to click? And then what do you say in the first 30 seconds that gets them to put their finger down, from the back button, from the X button? You know what I mean? Like, just because they clicked on your video, they're going to click. They're going to watch for a few seconds and decide, is this what I wanted to watch? And your job in that first 30 seconds is to get them to put the remote down. That's what I use. That's what I say. Cause like we're like scrolling TV and it's like, it's kind of like an old school analogy. My dad would just like flip through channels, like flip, 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 flip. And then he'd see a football game and he'd put the remote down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you want your viewer to. Your viewer is like scrolling. They tap on you, but their finger is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Get them to put their finger down. Get them to put the phone down. Or they start their jog again because they're listening to you. So your thumbnail and the thing that you say in your first 30 seconds, your hook, are the two most important factors in getting people to watch your content beyond just a click.
And I really want to emphasize what he just said. They are the most important, because you can have the most brilliant content in the world, but if they don't click and they don't stay the first 30 seconds, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes, when we film, Wednesdays are often our film day, and there's a lot of times where I'll participate in the filming and I'll create a video for one of our channels, and I'll share with Owen. Okay, yeah, I've got the bullets out of what I want to talk about. He'll say, okay, that's fine. What's your hook though? Like it in the end, he knows that I've got the bullets, but that hook is so important. And oftentimes I'll have to spend more time on that hook than I will on the rest of the video, because the rest of the video is in me. I already know that.
Yep.
But that hook is so important because I've got to get into their psychology. I got to get them to put that remote down. So I've got to make it powerful. And most people, I find, either don't have a hook or they make their hook an afterthought.
Yeah.
And they lose people. Same thing with that thumbnail and that title that Owen was talking about. They make their video. It's the most amazing video in the world. It's their magnum opus. And then slap a thumbnail on there. Didn't really put much thought into it because that wasn't part of the video, but then no one watched it.
Yeah.
So you have to spend just as much time on that thumbnail and on that hook as you would really bulleting out what you're going to be talking about.
We think about it like a gift, right? Like the value of your video is a gift that deserves great packaging, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the title, the thumbnail, the hook, this is the wrapping paper, that causes your kids. My mom always used a different wrapping paper for Santa's presents than for family presents. So we'd wake up on Christmas morning and see a wrapping paper we'd never seen before. It must have come from the North Pole, right? Like your title, your thumbnail, and especially your hook, have to be sort of positioned to make that experience magical for the viewer. So they go, I'm going to invest 10 minutes into this, or even 5 minutes into this, whatever. I mean, still, in internet time, 5 minutes is like practically an eternity, right? It's not the 3 seconds that someone spends on a Facebook ad or whatever the case might be. So with your thumbnail, like some real tactical advice, go to owenvideo.com/thumbnails. That's just the bottom line. Don't become a graphic designer, right?
Unless you are a graphic designer, which you're probably not.
No. Even if you are, you have all the skills of a Facebook ad maker or an ebook maker, but like the thumbnail making is unique. There are 5 points to a good thumbnail. The hero image, it's a picture of you or a picture of the product. It's the background. Where are you? Can I relate to it? It's the text that you use, supporting imagery, and of course your brand consistency. So look, you go to that website I just gave you and you hire a professional thumbnail maker to make your thumbnails. Once you get a good thumbnail, then you just have your graphic designer copy it over and over and over again. Okay. It's literally that hard to start where you need a custom person to start you. But once you've developed a couple designs, like you just swap out the images and the text and you're good. There is no need to make every single thumbnail a brand new piece of art. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your hook, I want to expand on that a little bit more because, there's 3 parts to a YouTube hook. You have the visual hook, and that is the first thing the viewer sees when they click on your video. Remember, they saw a thumbnail and they clicked on that, but then immediately the video started playing. Where are you? What's in your background? You have to consider those things. Most of us have studios, right? So I'm in my studio. You got to ask yourself, like, I had this big aha moment, George, yesterday where I was like, I'm not like, I need to do more tutorials for my own channel. Let me show you guys. Like I do this for my own channel. I'm like, I need more tutorials, but I'm thinking about the first thing the viewer sees when they log into my show. You guys on the podcast, you can't see my background, but I've got like a studio and I've got a chair in the background, some orange lights. I look like a radio broadcaster or perhaps maybe like an influencer. I don't look like someone who's going to teach you how to use a software right now. So I had this idea. On these videos, I'm going to sit at the table where you can see my laptop. And that visual part of the hook tells the viewer I'm in the right spot. So it's okay to have your studio set up. I just want you to be not so dogmatic about it that it's like, oh, I couldn't start this one in the garden. Like, okay, let's say you're going to make a video about how to go from 5 figures to 6 figures a month. And I'm going to teach a sales video, right? But let's say you start outside in your garden with your cell phone and you're holding the cell phone and it opens up with a shot of your flowers. And you go, these are the most beautiful flowers that I've ever grown in my garden. And then you pull the video back up to your face and you say, but it didn't happen overnight. I had to learn how to plant these seeds. I had to learn how to nourish the plant. I had to plant the plant. And then I actually had to nourish the plant. And I even talked to my plants in the morning to help them grow. A lot of entrepreneurs think sales are going to come overnight. But really, it's like planting a seed. And today I'm going to share with you 5 ways that you can grow your sales faster than I grew this petunia. Stick around. Right?
Petunia.
Right? Whatever. I happen to be growing petunias.
Yes.
I should say I happen to be in the process of killing petunias is really what I'm in the beginning phases. But you see, like, it doesn't have to be your visual hook where you are matters. You don't need to do everything differently, but you don't need to do everything the same either.
And, right after that, he could be in his studio delivering the rest of the content. It's not like the whole video is in the garden.
You just do the hook there. Super good, babe. Thank you for clarifying that.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got your visual hook. You've got your verbal hook. The first thing the viewer hears. It could be something you say. It could be music. I love the viewer hears 2 seconds of music and then I speak. Just 2 seconds of a piano. Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
Just 2 seconds of that. Kind of puts you in a mood. Like, it's like, oh, okay, this guy's, but what if you also opened up with the demographic? You opened up with busy moms struggle with mom guilt. And so today, right? Like the first thing you said was busy moms, right? The verbal hook matters. The first thing that really the viewer hears. Okay. And then of course the value hook. And all of this, guys, is happening simultaneously, mishmashed together in the first 30 seconds. The value hook is, why should I stick around for this video? And I think what a lot of people do is they start to restate the title, right? Hey, in this video, I'm going to, and that's a good elementary method, right? Because they clicked on the title. You might as well reinforce the title. But you're really telling them about the after state, right? We talk about the before state and the after state, right? The before state is like when they nominated you for the award, right? The after state is once you've won the award, right? So think about the position of the viewer after they've watched this video. Hey, in today's video, busy moms struggle to make six figures a year with their business. And the reason why is mom guilt. So today, I'm going to show you 3 tips for overcoming mom guilt that will put you in a position to double your sales now. Stick around. It's a whole process that I teach. Let's get started.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Put them in the, and again, I'm just riffing with you guys.
Oh, no,
here,
I love it. I do this all the time. This is
right.
fun.
So you think about those things. We have hook templates that we use, hey, today I'm going to show you the benefits of X so that you can, we have hook templates on that. But the thing that's really most important is that you come up with the title of your video, right? I'm going to make a video about X. What's my hook for that video? That is the process of good video production. After that, make a thumbnail. After that, make a description box. After that, I don't even care, right? But once those 2 things are solid, then you've got a successful channel.
And I think one of the reasons why it's so important, and a lot of people, I don't know if they know this, but YouTube doesn't really count it as a view until they've been watching for about 30 seconds.
Yep.
So that's why we talk about this 30 seconds being important, because if you want to get more views, which most people do, right? We want people to view our content. A number of things have to happen for that view to even count. So they have to click, and then they have to get to that first 30 seconds to watch the rest of it. Once that happens, the algorithm will say, oh, okay, people are really liking, people like what he's having to say or what she's having to say. I'll push that video out into more of the feeds of people who are searching for these terms or suggesting this video to more people who are on YouTube right now. So you'll actually increase your views because the algorithm will actually show your video up, more often because you're showing it. And then, of course, the longer they stay, the more that'll happen as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think even summarizing this down, like it took me 10 years to realize that I was spending so much time in my videos and not so much in the hook or in the thumbnail. And I had these beautiful presents. And the analogy I use, I'm like, if I give my kid 3 Christmas presents and I put the same present in every box, and I put Paw Patrol wrapping paper on one, leave a brown paper box on one, and duct tape number 3, there's only one box he's going to open, but it doesn't change the value of what's in the box. It's my job to create an invitation that is enticing or attractive in that experience to get somebody to unwrap the box.
And you guys all know how to do this, right? So much of what we do is untapping genius and just like removing blocks, right? Because if you were, again, if Elon Musk were to call anybody listening today and say, hey, I need you to fill in this last minute speaker spot, but it's tomorrow, there's a plane waiting for you, you just got to jump in and go. Any one of us here would be able to do that, and we'd be excited about it, right? And you'd have a gut instinct for what to do. It's the same with video, right? You've got to think to yourself, how can I make someone interested in this topic, knowing that they could X out of this in any second, right? Make them interested in the it's not that your video underperformed, it's that you weren't able to convince enough people to stick around. And that's the skill you need to work on. We focus so much time on the hook because once, I'll tell you, you guys know this too. So many of you today, you were listening to this podcast and you kind of held the phone in your hand, seeing what you thought. And at some point you put the phone down and you're like, I'm just going to let it roll. You may have even left to use the restroom. Point is, you didn't stop to X out. And that's what you're doing. Get them to put the phone down. Get them to just resume their jog, and you'll keep them. Look, we just did a video on our channel that was a 30-minute improv from me. And it's kind of improv. It's one of those things where it's like, I want to talk about this now. Put my camera on, Billy. And so Billy got the camera and filmed me. We have an average of 7 minutes watch time on this video right now, which is really big, guys. Most people don't watch videos for 7 minutes on average, right? It counts everyone who logged off and all these different things. The longer videos perform so well, but you gotta hook them to get them to watch that, because they'll just press play and let it roll. So there's a good value to do 5-minute videos, shorter ones, but then that's why we love live streams. Do a 30-minute live stream, because you could double, triple the size of your channel just by having longer videos up there.
Yeah, and I want to say this to nail this home: spend as much, if not more, time on your hook and your thumbnail, And what you said earlier is so powerful. When I do videos, I don't think about these are the 3 things I want to teach. Typically, my team comes to me like, hey, we've been noticing this. People are struggling with this. And I'm like, okay,
So
what's
good.
the hook? Like, what's the thing
That's good.
that I can help them with? Because if I can articulate the thing that I can help them with, the content fills itself in,
Yes.
right? We just pull from the bucket of our knowledge and our genius, but it only works if we're meeting them where they are, speaking the language that they're speaking,
Oh yeah.
and then wrapping the content so it serves that purpose. And
So
so the
good.
one thing I have a question on, not really a question, it's more so I know the answer, but I think it's huge. Like, I think it's important to hear your take on it because I watch people write titles that are hooky and enticing, but they don't match the content of the video. I
Mm.
watch people make thumbnails to create this visual hook, but it's incongruent with what comes in the video. And I think I see this a lot, and it's I don't think people realize the damage that's being done because you get
Mhm.
somebody's heightened emotions and attention and then immediately disappointment when there's incongruence, and it actually pushes them further away than if they never clicked on the
100%
video in the
yes.
first place.
Yep. They don't trust you anymore.
Nope. And so what do you guys recommend? Like, by the way, like I'm like writing IP over here for you. Like I call it the holy video tripod for the title, thumbnail, and hook. But like
Nice.
So
when you
good.
when you when you like think about this, right? We have the whole big part, right? Our channel value statement, which then leads into our programming content that gets into the silos. Then we think about in that silo, what is the hook or the idea that we're going after? We take the time to invest in the hook. Then we create the content, do the video. We have the thumbnail. And so how do you guys see, like, I think that's somewhat similar to the process, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I think that you have to remember that the thumbnail and the title and the hook really is the promise.
Yeah.
And then you do need to deliver. If you don't, you might get the initial clicks because of
Mhm.
all of the emotion, but they won't come back because they don't trust you anymore.
Mhm.
So if you really want long-term, viewers, fulfilling your promise is very important.
Mhm.
Clickbait is not the way to do it
Yeah.
at all.
No,
Yeah,
it's
so
like those
we
Instagram accounts we see with like 3.1 million followers and 7 comments a post.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's a big sign. It's a
Yeah.
big sign.
Yeah, I get 7 comments on a post that gets 14 likes.
Yeah.
As a kind of a half joke there. But look, we walk through. It's only yeah. We walk
14 likes,
through
got
a we walk through a process with our clients, and we use a software that I think is very helpful for making this happen. But a lot of times these things are happening sort of in vacuums, right? Like you've got your thumbnail guy working on your thumbnails. You've got your editor. She's working on your video. And then you're going to kind of like upload all those things, or maybe your VA is going to do it, right? My thing is this: get it all into YouTube, okay? Before you publish, you are walking yourself through the process that a viewer would go through, right?
Mm.
So you're looking at the thumbnail and the title, and you go, is there consistency there? Does it at least make sense? Right? It doesn't have to be something that you love, but it's like, no, that makes sense. I think that's clear, right? Clear over cute every day, right? So my value statement is clear. Excuse me, I just to mince words. My value for this video is clear, right? Like, so the thumbnail and the title look great together. Then click the video, watch it, and stop it within like 10, 15 seconds and be like, do I know and am I happy about my experience right now? Okay. And this is a process that is going to take maybe some massaging. Look, if it didn't make sense, you change the title and you ask your thumbnail guy, hey, make me another thumbnail.
Mhm.
Truly, I really get 2 thumbnails with every delivery. Like I have a graphic designer, like so many of us do, right? I just have a graphic designer. They come from custom thumbnails background, right? They know what they do. So I might have 2 or 3 thumbnails to start off with, right? And I'm like, okay, that one I don't even like that one. It sounded good in my head. But when I see it next to the title, it's thumbnail number 2 that I like, right?
Mhm.
And then I click, and we literally walked through this process last week with a client. I click on the video and it's like, bro, you're just like warbling for like a minute, man. And it's all this like, because it's not a keynote speech, right? Like
Mhm.
these people could leave at any time. In a keynote, they have to stay or the boss will write them up, right? Like, so you got to get into it. So what we did is we used the YouTube editor. YouTube has a small editor inside, and we trimmed off the first minute so that the very first thing now we have a title that I like, a thumbnail that I like, and when I click it, it goes, today we're going to talk about how to do XYZ, and this is specifically for CEOs of companies that are over 1,000 people. I loved it, just got right into the topic. So I think that my point is landing this plane is that you are going to do multiple drafts on a video. You're going to play, if you don't have 2 titles ready to go, you're positioning yourself for an emergency, right? Because if the video doesn't perform, you need to change the title now, right? And it's great if you already have 2-3 titles to pick from. Your thumbnail, you should have a couple different versions. Sometimes, man, I don't even see it till I publish a video. I publish a video and I go, that thumbnail is terrible for this video. It just didn't make sense until I hit publish, but I have another one ready.
Just go replace it.
So I just replace it. Yeah, exactly. And then the hook, right? Like the hook, you really need to feel good about from the entire editing process, right? Like I can't watch all of my videos. I can't watch the whole 15-minute video, but I can watch the first minute, and I can go, okay, I think that this is strong. Let's launch this. So I want you guys to develop this cadence where you upload all this, your VA uploads it and delivers it to you on Monday, and you're walking yourself through the thumbnail and title. Does that go together? And then press play. Does that go together? And if the answer is yes, then publish the video. If not, wait to publish. Oh, but I got to publish on Tuesday. No, you don't. But I told my audience new videos weekly. They don't care. They don't remember, like just wait a day or 4 hours till the thumbnail's done. It's like, well, they're in the Philippines. It won't be done till tomorrow. So what? Upload tomorrow. The 10,000 views will thank you for waiting one more day, because it's not the viewer's fault if you wrapped it in duct tape and they didn't open it. That lands on you.
I had to write down the 10,000 views will thank you tomorrow.
It's so true. We upload everywhere. We upload on Instagram. We upload on Shorts. We upload on TikTok. There is no perfect time to post, and yet the time that you post matters. It all comes down to you and your audience and knowing what works. Like we have a TikTok channel, comedy channel, right? And so uploading for us we upload, my son uploaded a video the other day, 7, 8 p.m. It flopped. It should have done well. Didn't go anywhere. And I think it's because the kids are watching TV. They're winding down, getting ready for bed, especially on the East Coast, right? Whereas if it's summertime, if we had posted that maybe, I would think around noonish our time, when it's like the hottest part of the day, most of the country, and the kids are probably like in the shade watching TikTok, I think that would do really well. During the school year, I would try to post at 3 my time, because I was in California and the rest of the country was getting out of school and they're watching it on the bus. They're watching it on the car ride home. So, you got to know your audience, and like, if your audience is online, then it's a good time to publish. So for most business people, it's going to be like morning, lunch, or after work. Like, and again, it's
about your audience.
You tell me what you know about your audience. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I'm like sitting over here or flabbergasted at the amount of like value and all the things. Like I have 3 pages of notes sitting in front of me that I've typed, like going into this. My brain hurts a little bit for all the right reasons, but I think it's time to land this plane. I do have a question. When you said thumbnails, can you repeat the URL of where they can see those thumbnails again?
Yes. Owen Video. Yeah. Go get thumbnails made by a professional thumbnail maker. That's all they do is YouTube thumbnails. It's owenvideo.com/thumbnails. And then you'll go to a pricing page. You can get them a la carte. You could get 4 a month. Like I think that you should do the 4 a month, get 4 for $97. And from there, you can make your own templates moving forward. Mine were so good that we partnered with the company, and I just have them make all of them. I get unlimited revision. You guys get unlimited revisions. You can reuse the same thumbnail over and over again. So it's like I get 4 per month, right? But like the one that they made me 18 versions for. So, it's a great value. It's a great organization.
I love it. Theresa, do you have any like closing wrapping paper for this? Cause like I don't. It's too good.
I think in the end, reminding everyone, I think we spend a lot of time writing out our content, but really that genius is inside of you. Anybody who's here, you guys all have something that you're really passionate about. You know what you're going to have to say. Spend less time really scripting out all of those details. Trust your instincts on that. You know it, it's in you. You talk about it all the time. And as we had mentioned, spend more time on some of these other areas, that thumbnail and the title and the hook, so forth. And then the last thing is, if you want to be able to organize this in a systematic way that really helps you, and if you have people involved, like you have an editor, you have somebody doing your thumbnails, you've got other people involved, maybe there's even someone uploading to your channel, having a good project manager tool is very helpful for managing a channel like this. We use Asana. Everybody has their thing. We really like Asana because we like, it's kind of like what's that other software company out there, Trello where
yeah.
there's like a board, and you can see where you can actually take one of your YouTube videos. You have like a checklist of things that need to be done for each one of them, that the thumbnail, get the title, right? All of those aspects. And then you can move it through that process. So you and everybody on your team knows exactly where it's at in the process. You could be working on 3 or 4 videos at the same time, and you're not feeling confused. You're not feeling overwhelmed. Everyone knows where the process is at, which one has the thumbnail, which one doesn't. And it makes it so much easier. With using a project management tool like that, we're able to create at least 1 video a week for a YouTube channel in about 2 hours, from start to finish. It's super
really
powerful.
More than 1 though. Like it's maybe 1 for the first week, but after you like pick it up, it's like you're going to find that there's an exponential quality to this.
For sure. And
especially
no matter,
other people.
Whatever project management software using that view is called the Kanban view, and it's in most of them. So you can drag it sideways. And I think also at a note we made earlier, Owen, and just I'll put my wrapping paper alluding to this, of like making your content an asset, right? Like they don't make TV shows like Friends and Seinfeld so you watch it once and you never watch it again, or else they wouldn't get a $90 million syndication deal 22 years after the first episode was filmed, right? But even in thinking about organizing this, like if you're going down the route of like, yep, I should have 3 thumbnails or 3 titles, and you'd use a project management software, you never have to wonder because you just keep it in there. Title 1, title 2, title 3, thumbnail 1, thumbnail 2, thumbnail 3. And then you know where everything is. And the more organized you are, the more you can treat this channel as an asset into your business and keep creating that content to help your ideal client. So I absolutely love it. This is about 1,000 times better than I even thought it could be. And I knew it was going to be good, but I'm literally going to get off here and sync with my team. I'm like, are we doing this? Are we still, did we have to, okay, we need thumbnails. Let's just hire them and buy back some of your time. So I am honored. I'm stoked. You guys, I love you to absolute pieces. Real quick before we go, can you guys let everybody know the best place to find you again outside of the thumbnails?
Yeah. Go to owenvideo.com and take a look at our schedule. Join us for a workshop, right? We teach everything in 1 day. We give you the recordings and you can give them to your team. You can even invite your team. We can even do a workshop for your team. Here's the thing it's not 1 day that's going to change everything, right? It's going to be the videos that you make afterwards. And we have programs to walk you through that as well. But here's the thing. I want you to think about the lives that you are going to change. And it doesn't matter what you're wearing. And it doesn't matter how good your eye makeup is or how good your hair is or any of those things. What matters is that you focus on changing lives through the only medium that matters, and that's video. So let that motivate you. Go to owenvideo.com to learn more about us and what we do. And I hope that you'll reach out to us on Instagram as well.
I encourage it. Go stalk them, go blow them up, DM them, test them. Go comment everywhere and be like, you didn't see this one. But guys, I mean it. A lot of my one-on-one clients are clients of theirs and they're dear friends, and they're the only people I will ever call or reach out to for any YouTube help. And if you're listening to this as well, for my wrapping paper, all these principles apply no matter what the platform is. They apply to your process. They apply to getting connected to your avatar and your audience. And we used YouTube as the tool today, but these principles are valuable, like extremely valuable and priceless. And so take them, apply them, and most importantly, actually use them consistently so that you can get the results. So without further ado, we will wrap this episode. For everybody listening, thank you for listening to another episode of the Mind of George Show. I will either see you in the next episode or you'll hear me in your earballs, but either way, it's time to cue the outro.